Good morning, everyone. Oh, not morning or yet? That's okay, because you can eat eggs for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Welcome to episode 6 of Three Eggs Are Better Than One. I am joined, as always, by Matt M. and Brian Haremza. Hello, guys. We want to thank everyone for the positive feedback from last week, even though the title said that maybe the questions were not important, something like that, Matt. I think you guys got a deep dive look at how we live our lives. So well done. But let's get this sunny side up started, Bryant. What do you got for us this week?
Well, my sunny side up is going to be about how I've rekindled a friendship. I am what I like to call a very bad friend, in that my contact and communication is a little lax sometimes with some people. Recently caught up with somebody who I haven't spoken to in, gosh, probably 3 or 4 years at this point. And their lives changed dramatically, and the fact that they now have a child, and I was completely unaware. So for me, my sunny side up is rekindling a friendship, getting to have those conversations again with somebody that, quite honestly, didn't realize I missed until started having I missed, but didn't realize how much I missed them until these conversations began again. So, Brad, how about you?
Yeah, I agree though. I can be a bad friend too. I got lots of friends from college, from home, um, and just people you lose touch with sometimes too. Even
Absolutely.
even
Yeah.
in current day, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Like all of a sudden you're just not talking to them anymore. That's going on with me right now with one of my very best friends. It's just we're not talking. So I get it, man. It's hard, and it makes me appreciate you guys every week. Anyway,
Absolutely.
my sunny side up was as I was walking the dog. I don't know if it was Friday or Sunday. Just strolling down the street, and all of a sudden I hear a big crash. Something's breaking, something's falling. Now you're probably wondering, well, what's so sunny side up about this? Well, hang on there. I see a guy falling off the ladder. All right, and he is hanging down, and I'm running over there, running, and he somehow the ladder does a complete 360 with him on it, gently falls onto the bush, and he is able to climb down. And I said, dude, are you okay? And he's laughing. And I said, oh, thank God, man. I mean, I was just coming over to call 911. I don't know what I could have done for you. But, my sunny side up is that you don't have a broken neck, you don't have a broken back, and you lived through this. So, sunny side up on that.
Mm.
How about
What
you, man?
was he doing? Was he putting up Christmas lights or
You know
something?
what? I should have started with that. It is the Christmas season. People are
Yeah.
putting up their lights. That is what he was doing. Yes. And I am not, it's funny. I'm not afraid of heights, but I don't like unstable heights. And a ladder is definitely an unstable height that I'm not real, I really don't like. And I have had some close calls, but this was the closest of calls that I've ever seen. So, except in the movie Christmas Vacation.
Right. Right.
What about
All
you,
right.
man?
So my sunny side up, I always have the worst sunny side ups. Um, Mine is just I've spent the day celebrating a new technology that has entered our lives. So just yesterday, Apple released their newest iOS for the iPhone. And if you have the latest phone, or I think last year's model, you can utilize their new artificial intelligence features.
Hmm.
And the one that just came out yesterday includes an app called Playground, where you can create images based on words, phrases, suggestions that you type in, or if you upload a photo, sort of makes an animated version of a human, you or your friends or whatever. So I had a lot of fun with that today, and I would strongly recommend anyone who has this capability to play around with it. It's pretty amazing to see what the phone can do, and very quickly. And to me, that oh no, well, very another sunny side up is consider yourself lucky if you're only listening and not viewing on YouTube. One of my early attempts to submit a photo of myself and see what turned out, but pretty hysterical image there.
I enjoyed it. I had a picture of me sent to our group
Yeah.
chat today, and that was a lot of fun. I actually put it on Facebook and just wrote, "Anybody want to buy a new car?" So yeah, that was a great time. Well, hard boiled it is, huh? All right, I got two things for you, and I had almost had nothing, but you know what? Things just pop up. First, hard boiled isn't even my situation, okay? But someone told me this story, and I got hard boiled over it, so I'm going to repeat. So it's a hearsay hard boiled. I am a dog. Let's start with this. I am a dog lover. I have two dogs, and I spend a lot of time with them. So I was talking to one of my, I work at a car dealership. A rep came in and she just asked me how my Thanksgiving was, and we just, small talk. And she said it's always an adventure where she goes. I said, oh, what happened? She said, well, my cousin brought their dog over without asking. And I said, what? She goes, yeah, and the dog bites and doesn't like other dogs. This is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. Okay, so I don't bring my dogs places. All right, I have my parents once when my one dog was a puppy said go ahead and bring him, and that was really nice. But I didn't ask, and I didn't just show up. Showing up at someone's house for Thanksgiving with your dog is without asking is a no-no. And if the dog bites, and if the dog's not good with other dogs, and there's other dogs in the house, what the hell are you even doing? Find another alternative. Okay, because what they ended up doing was putting the dog in another room, and the dog barked at the door the whole time. Great time, everybody. Great time. Thanks for coming. Leave your dog at home. So I'm sitting on the couch, and then again, I take my dog outside, and I get a text from Sue, and I'm like, I'm going to be back in a minute. Okay. I don't know if we really need to be texting right now, unless you're texting me gifts you want for Christmas. So it says, don't make plans February 1st. Don't ask why. Now, here's the problem with this. I bought her a gift. We're going to go see something. I don't want to say it on here just in case by any chance she gets on TikTok for this one. And I said, don't make, or do you have anything available for April 7th? Several minutes later, she said, no, I'm good. I said, fine. And the reason for that is she has a work schedule where she leaves town. We have plans all the time, I feel like, of something we have to do. Like we have a Friday the 13th party tomorrow. Again, second one this year, by the way, and in 3 months. And we always have something going on, so I want to make sure we don't have plans because I don't want to pay for something and then we can't do it. And that has happened a couple times. And so that's an understanding. But this wasn't a question. This was don't make plans February 1st. Don't ask why. Well, unless we're going to the Royal Rumble, I got a real problem here. Okay. Now, as everybody knows, I'm a wrestling fan. And hey, listen, I'm not really a problem with it. Like there's wrestling on every night. There's pay-per-views on almost twice a month. I'm not going to watch a lot of it live. I watch a lot of it on DVR and or just the replays on Peacock, stuff like that. I don't watch a lot of it live, but I have three musts a year. And the three musts are this, or four actually. And actually I didn't happen. One didn't happen this year, but normally I'm sitting in front of the TV for SummerSlam, for WrestleMania, for the Royal Rumble, and maybe for All In. Okay. Other than that, we can schedule whatever you want. But I really love the Royal Rumble. Okay. And I really don't want that spoiled for me. So I said, I walk in, I go, what's going on February 1st? She goes, I told you not to ask. I'm like, well, that's the Royal Rumble. And then she just gives me that look, like, and oh, and nothing. You know who you married. Okay. But she didn't say and I said, look, I mean, she goes, well, what's it doing on a Saturday night? I'm like, for the last couple of years, they've been doing it on Saturdays now. She goes, well, I thought all wrestling was on Sunday. She goes, never mind. You know what? You don't have to do this. I'm like, oh boy. Now here we go. So now it's getting quieter. I'm like, no, that's fine. I'll do it. I'll just watch it the next day and try to turn off every TV and on my phone and not talk to my friends. And I'll just do it the next day, praying that it's not going to be the NFC Championship or the AFC Championship next game, which it's not. But now we're quiet. Okay. Now the house is quiet because I've reacted. Not really evil, but now she had a great idea, apparently. Now I've ruined it. Okay. So then I get a text. I'm sitting on the couch. I get a text that says, do you have anything available March 7th? And I go, what are we doing? I go, no, I don't think so. So let me look. I didn't. So then she says, fine, I'll find someone else to go with the other thing with. I'm like, okay. So now we get over it. Next night comes and she says, by the way, you're going to be getting two gifts on Christmas and you're going to decide which one you'd rather go to. And you're going to see if it's important enough for you to miss Royal Rumble or not. I'm like, oh, so this isn't over. Okay, this isn't over. I said I would go. So then now again, once again, we're going to have this. I've shut that down. So now it's just the one gift on March 7th now. And now I'm thinking though, what is this February 1st gift? So now I'm intrigued. Now I want to pick. So now I have to go back there tonight and tell her I'm going to go ahead and go let you put those two gifts out. Hard boiled.
So the dog thing, yeah, I'm not a big fan of dogs. I know most people love dogs, and I wish them no harm. but I don't like them. And honestly, I have trouble understanding why there's such an obsession with them. I mean, they're loud, they are disgusting,
Wow.
they require a lot of work. Uh, and like I have family members of mine are allergic or have, skin reactions to them. Um, there's always the like, oh, he never does this. Yes, he does. Whenever I'm around, he does. And what else does it matter?
I know. I love dogs, but yeah, I just didn't think it was appropriate. But what do you got to add to this, Bryant?
I still just can't understand why you don't like dogs, Matt. I mean,
I just listed six reasons.
they're man's best friend.
Yeah, I
I
mean
mean,
that was an early marketing campaign that did pretty good.
I have better relationships with my dogs right now than I do with my children, but that's another story.
And your wife, apparently.
Yeah, well, after this one, if she sees it on TikTok, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, that's hard boiled for the week. Doing a new segment this week. It's called Scrambled Eggs, which is inconsistencies, and we're going to kick it over to Matt M. So, Matt, what you got for us?
Isn't it crazy? It took us 6 episodes to get to a category called scrambled eggs. I mean, that's like one of the most popular types of eggs. All right, inconsistencies. So I scoured my brain, all my useless knowledge, and the internet to try to come up with some things that maybe don't quite add up or make sense. Um, it is the Christmas season, as we're beaten to death, and usually what happens is I watch with my family Home Alone. And in case you didn't know, our valued listeners out there are 6 Home Alone movies. Yes, and there are 6. Macaulay Culkin is only in the first 2, and you've probably seen those. There are 4 others. The third one was the only other one released theatrically and featured a very young, did not feature, included a very young Scarlett Johansson, who I believe had one line in the movie. She wasn't the star, she was a sibling. And all the movies are absolutely terrible. Even Home Alone 2, that's got to be one of the worst screenplays like in the history of time. We just watched it again. It's so bad. The pigeon lady is like one of the worst characters in the history of film. Okay. So I'm saying all this to say none of this has anything to do with what I'm about to get to. Let's talk about Home Alone, which you've all seen, the first one, the original one. And in that opening scene, when the family's running around the house crazy because they're all leaving for their big trip tomorrow, right? All the extended family is together. The kid shows up to deliver the pizzas, right? And he's standing there. No, he's trying to get paid. He's trying to deliver the pizzas. Nobody's paying him any attention. Who's in charge here? You're in charge. I'm in charge. There's a cop here. Let's talk about the McAllister family and who was present. Okay. We had Kevin. We had his parents. That's Peter and Kate. We had his brothers, Buzz and Jeff. We had his sisters, Megan and Linny. And then, of course, there was Uncle Frank and Aunt Leslie with his cousins, Rod, Tracy, Sandra, Brooke, Heather, and of course, Fuller. So if you're keeping track, that's 15 people, 4 adults, a couple teenagers, and a bunch of kids. Now, how many pizzas did they order for 15 people? 10. 10 pizzas for 15 people. So let's do a quick math here. That's 5 1/3 slices per person. So how do you think that went? What are they saving leftovers for the rest of the holiday season? I don't think so. You're getting on a plane, going to another country the next day. Why did they need so much pizza? There was no screenwriter or anybody and some sort of line producer trying to make sense out of why they could possibly need 10 large pizzas for 15 people, most of which are children. How many? Maybe Buzz will eat 3 slices, but how many slices are the little kids eating? 1, 2. Inconsistent scrambled egg.
Can
Wasn't
I can I comment on this?
sure, but rebut.
All right, so the real inconsistency here is there's only one plane, cheese, and he didn't even get it. Because that's all that Kevin wanted was a plain cheese.
Yeah.
There was only one plain. So how many pepperoni, sausage, supreme? I mean, I know there wasn't buffalo chicken pizza or cheesesteak pizza back then. I promise you that. Not at that time. Also, where was it afterwards? Did they put it away in the fridge? Because Kevin didn't have any pizza from the fridge during that week. He had to order another one. One plain cheese pizza just for me.
Yeah.
I just wanted to mention that because I never thought of it till just now.
Yeah. It's very inconsistent. Now I've got another one.
Okay.
I want to go to that. This one is about football, sports, and I'm going to talk about how I don't really like the overtime rules. Um, so here's what I wrote up. Inconsistencies to me with the NFL overtime rules. Since 2010, NFL overtime games have been played under modified sudden death rules. Each team has the opportunity to possess the ball unless the first possession ends in a touchdown or a safety. A no score and a change of possession means the game continues under traditional sudden death rules. Next score wins. If the first possession results in a field goal, the other team's possession can result in a loss if they don't score, a win with a touchdown, or they could tie it with a field goal, and then the game continues under those traditional sudden death rules. Still with me? Okay. And I do have to add that this now only applies to regular season games because 2 years ago they changed the playoff overtime rules, and I don't want to get into that.
Super Bowl, yeah.
Here is what I don't like about the modified sudden death rules, and I don't think anybody ever discusses this particular point. This topic is, of course, a very debatable one. Why can't it just be sudden death, coin toss, blah blah blah? The original reason I think to change the rules away from sudden death was the feeling that the coin toss was too valuable, right? It would determine the first possession, and the coin toss is is a complete chance. So it was too unfair to the team that lost the coin toss. So, okay, maybe you want to try to make it more fair, right? So keep that word in mind, fair. We're trying to make it more fair. Okay, but how is this scenario fair? Okay. Team one wins the coin toss, receives the ball, drives down the field, gets close, not going to be able to score a touchdown. They kick a field goal. So they go up by 3, right? Now the game continues. Now it's next score wins. Classic sudden death rules. Okay. Now you're team two. You receive the ball. You're down by 3. You receive the ball. You're deep in your own territory. First down, second down, third down, no gain. You don't get anywhere. Now it's fourth down. What do you do? What do you do on fourth down when you're deep in your own territory? Well, in most situations, you would punt, but in this situation, you can't because as soon as you give up the possession, the game's over and you lose. Okay. Uh, you can't go for a field goal because you're 75 yards away. So what do? You try to score a touchdown. You throw a Hail Mary or some sort of trick play with laterals and stuff. And maybe you actually score a touchdown and you win the game. But, you're not going for the tie anymore and you're not going for the extension. So team one won the coin toss, kicked a field goal, but when team two had it, they valued their fourth down the way that they were forced to and kicked a field goal. But when team two had fourth down, they tried for a touchdown and went for the win. So how is that fair to team one? Team two had 4 downs to go for a touchdown, and team one only had 3 downs. That doesn't make any sense to me, and I don't think that's ever discussed when people are picking apart these rules. That's my opinion. I think that's an inconsistency.
I don't think I agree with that at all. Brian, I want you to you don't either, do you?
If you're complaining this much, I'd love to hear your take on the college football overtime rules, which
I'm not
are
even sure I know what that is.
1,000 times worse. Because theirs is for overtime, each team gets a possession and you play from the 25-yard line.
Yes.
Yeah.
And if the game continues on the second overtime, you flip the field, but you have to go for 2. And then starting in the third overtime, it's all 2-point conversions until somebody misses.
So you don't even try to score a touchdown. They're all plays from the 2 yard line.
Yeah.
Yes. After starting in the third overtime, the ball is just put on the 2 yard line
Wow.
every time,
No, I
and
had no
it's
idea.
yeah.
They just
You
had an
go.
8 overtime game.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
I don't hate that. At least you have a winner.
But that
Yeah.
seems even,
Yeah, it is even.
right? There's no advantage.
I don't think there's an advantage. The only advantage I see to the playoff system in pro is still the coin toss. And if they score the touchdown, it's over, which I never understood that. Why don't they get a
Mm.
chance to rebuttal with the touchdown?
Well, they do in the playoffs now.
Yes, but why not in regulars? Why is the field goal you continue, but the touchdown you don't? That's what I don't
I
understand.
think the idea was they didn't want to, I think that was a compromise. They didn't want to go from clean sudden death to college style where it's the opposite of sudden death and you always get to match. They
Yeah.
found what they thought was a comfortable middle was there's a scenario when you can match and there's a scenario when you can just outright
But
win.
where'd the safety come in?
Because the safety means both teams
Because you
have
got to kick it away
both
to the
teams
same
have
team.
possession one
Okay,
score.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
All
the
right.
same. It's the safety is the defense scoring a touchdown. Same thing.
Well, you know why they only go one quarter?
Well, it's for safety.
Yes,
Yeah. And that's
100%.
why I went
Yeah.
from 15 minutes to 10 minutes.
And I think that the college way's safe because you're only really going from the 2 yard line at that point.
Yeah.
Well, gentlemen, that's my scrambled eggs, but I think it's time to move on
I like that talking like that though.
to another new segment.
All
Over
right, so what are we doing? Huh?
over.
Over easy.
And what's that?
So
Who
over.
who or what? Are you describing it or am I describing it? Oh, you
I
go.
don't know. I don't understand why you're describing it.
I don't know.
I thought the rules of this show were you kick it
I,
back to me.
you're right. I was trying to move the program along, and
I
here
know what you were doing. We
I've
all
gone
know
and
what you were
extended
doing.
it.
The people at home know what you were doing, okay? But that's not what we're doing.
That's not how
Okay.
this works.
We're not ready for that. We're not ready for any major changes yet, okay? Anyway, over easy. So what is over easy? Means who is over with you this week. Now, the word over is a very famous wrestling term. It means who has won you over? Who is popular this week with you? So with the fans, like Cody Rhodes as the champion is very over with the WWE fans. So that is what it is. But this does not have to be wrestling at all. So Matt, we're kicking it right back to you. Who's over with you this week?
All right. Who or what is over with me? And what is over with me is a little functionality on my Roku that I would like to discuss. Now, if you've been listening or if you know me, you know I'm very much into the entertainment industry, music, film, TV, blah, blah, blah. So I don't, this functionality probably exists on many different platforms and stuff, but I have a Roku. That's my my streaming hub. And normally when I'm watching something, I'm listening and I do not have the subtitles turned on. I do not have the captioning turned on, right? I don't need it. I can hear them. Obviously there's people who are going to have that on voluntarily. And sometimes you're watching and you just quite can't make something out that somebody says, a character says, and maybe you hit that rewind 10 or 30 seconds button if you have that, and they repeat it, and you're still, God, they're just the way they're saying it is just not hitting my eardrums. I can't hear it. There's a functionality in the Roku that I turn on all the time. Closed captioning on replay. Do you guys use this?
No.
It means the subtitles are not on unless you ask for that quick skip back because they're assuming you missed something audibly and they're helping you along. So you'll just get a 30, let's say you go rewind 30 seconds. You'll just get that 30 seconds. You'll get the chance to hear it again and they'll put the words on the screen for you. And I think that is a simple, brilliant functionality. I'm not saying it's new, it's been around, but I used it this week. So that was over with me this week.
I love it. Nah, man. Hey, anything that makes life a little more convenient. I
It's
get it.
just small genius.
Yes, it is a small genius. I have two. They're brief though. I wanted to say that the college football playoff committee is over with me this week because they did not put Alabama in the top 12. Screw Alabama. They did not deserve to be there. Thank you, college. And I know that they had the heat from that. because it was a decision. It was a big decision. Second, who's over with me this week? Eric Bischoff, Alex Kane, and Mr. Thomas. Now, Eric Bischoff, famous wrestling personality, been out of the game for a little bit now. He did a MLW, which is Major League Wrestling, a smaller promotion, One Shot it was called. It was on YouTube. And just seeing him uh, mixing it up with everybody and doing the things he used to do and having a good time with a smaller wrestling show was really enjoyable. And having him with Alex Kane, who was a former MLW champion, and Mr. Thomas, who is like his henchman. When I was on the Kickout crew, Bryant was with me. We interviewed Alex Kane twice. We interviewed Mr. Thomas twice. Mr. Thomas has my phone number. He has texted me like dumb stuff like, why are they beheading people in Levittown? So like, it was just great to see these people that I know a little bit with, someone like Eric Bischoff and really getting the rub. So they are all over with me this week.
Well, I'm going to follow. I have a couple as well. I'm going to follow Brad's suit. The playoff committee is over with me as well. We don't need Alabama in the playoff. Happy SMU got in. I am looking very forward to seeing how this playoff plays out. Who's over with me this week is, I'm again also going to tie it into wrestling. It would be the New Day. They have recently gone to, in the wrestling terms, heel side, the bad guys, turning on one of their own. And they went out to do a promo on Monday night, and the crowd just booed them out of the building to the point that people in the building couldn't even hear them on the microphone doing their promos because they were so loud with their boos. And that just shows you that what they are doing is getting over, what they are doing is working, and that is something in wrestling you look for and you strive for. And to take these guys that were so beloved for so many years and now have them booed like this just goes to the credit that they have as performers. So the New Day is completely over with me on that note.
And Brian, you're over with me now because I know how much Matt M hates it. So now you're over with me this week as well.
I don't know. It's not good booing, I don't think.
Well, you're the only one so far that doesn't think so.
You're the only one on that boat, man. Got to get on. So on that note, back to you, Brad.
I hope you guys enjoyed the new segment. It was fun. Well, now we're going down the rabbit hole again. And this time we're going to find out, what if Rudolph did not show up? What if he wasn't there to save Christmas? Now, I sang the song last week, so I'm not going to sing it for you this week. But so what if Rudolph didn't save the day? We all know the story, but what if Rudolph didn't make it back in time to save Christmas? What happens to Rudolph? What happens to Santa? What happens to Christmas? What happens to the world? I mean, it's pretty simple, right? Santa said it. He said it. We're going to have to cancel Christmas. Now, before I get into that, there's already a few holes in this story. The idea of Christmas, of reindeer, of Santa doing all this in one night and going down chimneys, it's all a bit of supernatural, magical. Magical is a better word, maybe. So I'm not sure why weather was stopping him this year. And especially with a little nose that you could barely see anyway. But you know what? It doesn't matter. We're going to go with their story. All right. So because Christmas was canceled, children around the world were completely devastated, brokenhearted, and parents were angry. The following year, letters to Santa were down 85%. Kids across the globe completely lost faith in Santa and no longer believed. Parents stepped in the following year and created creative distractions to help the children forget that there ever was a Santa. Religious traditions were still in place, but the idea of Santa or gift giving was over. So what happened to Santa? Well, he was totally distraught and decided to retire and ignore the 15% of children that did write him letters. Santa fell into depression, relying on Mrs. Claus's cookies and cocoa. As sympathetic as Mrs. Claus was, after a couple of years, she left Santa for someone more stable, the North Pole dentist, Hermie. So what happened to Rudolph? Since Rudolph didn't save the day, he walked the North Pole aimlessly. He was tracked down by the king of misfit toys and asked to come back. He became a sensitivity counselor. Eventually, Clarice, his girlfriend, found him, and they married and lived on the island for the rest of their days. So what happened to the other reindeer? Now that the reindeer were serving no purpose, they mostly played reindeer games. However, after a short time, the magic of Christmas left them, and they became traditional reindeer, like regular deer that you see in the woods. Yukon Cornelius continued to look for silver and gold obsessively, so obsessively that he lost his mind and ended up in an asylum. The abominable snowman became a creature of lore and the most popular Halloween costume for years to come. The elves, on the other hand, relocated, but we'll get to that in a bit. So far, we have a very depressing story on our hands, but the magic of Christmas is hard to destroy. Can this story have a happy ending? In the mid 19th century, a con man from Kansas got lost in a hot air balloon on December 24th and crashed in the land of Oz. Children around the world saw the balloon. They remember the stories about a man who delivered presents on Christmas Eve called Santa Claus, but it was always just folklore. But the balloon created hope that maybe this man really does exist. When this man, Oscar Zoroaster, landed in Oz, he was immediately made a powerful wizard. However, he did not have any powers of his own. Word traveled to the wizard that children had spotted him around the world and thought he could be the legendary Santa Claus. As a kid, the wizard remembered how sad he was when Santa stopped coming. He turned to Madame Morrible, asking her if she knew any sorcerer or sorceress that could help him achieve this great feat, and if she knew any toy makers as well. She had two very quick answers. The Munchkins from Munchkin City are actually transports from the North Pole. They were the original elves. And most recently, she had discovered a great power from one of her students from Shiz University, Elphaba Throp, the future Wicked Witch of the West. Or is she? The wizard immediately had the Munchkins start building the most spectacular sleigh you could ever imagine. After the sleigh was brought to Emerald City, the wizard sent for Elphaba Throp. When she arrived, he had her read from the spell book, the Grimoire. After she read the spell, magic fell upon the sleigh, and it began to fly. And as they say, the rest is history. The Wizard of Oz became the new improved Santa Claus. Kids until the end of time had their Christmas morning back. The elves, Elphaba, and her best friend Glinda all moved into the Emerald City as leaders of Christmas for eternity and lived in harmony. Elphaba never became the Wicked Witch, and there was no war between her and the people of Oz. Although this is a very different twist from the original Rudolph story, it was once again a misfit that helped bring happiness to children around the world. No, it wasn't a misfit that had a red nose and was a reindeer, but a green witch. Elphaba Throp and the Wizard of Oz saved Christmas. Merry Christmas, everyone, and always remember to believe. I know it's ridiculous.
Okay,
I loved it. I loved it. I'll say it. I loved it.
I've made some notes here. First of all, I feel like knowledge of Wicked was a prerequisite for comprehension of a lot of that.
Which yes and no. Yes and
Not
no.
really.
What is
Wicked Witch of the West, really?
Oscar Zoroaster? Is that
That's his name. That's the Oz's
that's his
name. It
name.
has nothing to do with Wicked. It has to do with everything.
I mean, they never said that in the movie The Wizard of
Well, there's this thing called Google, and there was a character in a book. It's not all just a movie.
No, it was a bunch of books.
They also did make a movie about it with James Franco,
Oh
where
my God.
he is the wizard.
That was a terrible movie.
It wasn't that bad.
That was an embarrassing movie. Okay, so Oscar. Okay, all right. So did you use the new AI playground to come up with all of that?
100% no. I
Okay.
will not cheat to do this ever.
No, I know. That's just about the same level of like what the fuckedness is going on here. Okay. All right. Bryant?
I just appreciated that you tied two stories together of, Oz and Rudolph. That, first of all, just the creativity is amazing. The question I have though, and I don't know if this ties in or not, but you mentioned one, does Glenda play a part in all this at all, or is she just kind of out of the story? Or
So they were friends, and they never had to become enemies because evil never took over,
okay.
It never happened. You know what I mean? And all that happened. Everybody lives happily ever after, except for poor Santa, of course.
Of course.
Oh, there's one more thing that happened that I didn't quite mention. The story wasn't all good. Years later, a young girl got caught in a tornado, and her house fell into a deserted Munchkin City. There was no one there to help young Dorothy because it was deserted. Eventually, she came across a lion that was not so cowardly, and he ate her, but not her little dog, too.
There it is.
Well, I didn't realize there was going to be more action after the copyright symbol appeared in the bottom of the corner.
Well, yeah, you have the thing at the end of the credits. I mean, you have that. Come on.
Yeah, that was the mid-credit scene right there.
Yeah.
Hope everyone enjoyed it. I know it's ridiculous, but it was a lot of fun. So we will go ahead, unless you have any other comments. I know you took some notes. You good?
No, go for it.
Yeah, no, I think I'm good. I applaud, just like you did with the Tom Brady alternate timeline. I applaud your efforts. I'm not sure I could come up with something so creative. I mean, my findings are just based on, stuff, real stuff, like, stuff that's I can concrete things that I can go and, Google. So, good job.
So now we have another new segment. It's called Breakfast for Dinner. So it's what are we eating? So Matt, what are you eating this week?
What should we have had so many new segments on one episode? I
Well,
mean,
I feel like I looked at the topic list of how many topics we didn't use, and I kept saying we were repeating the same topic. So why not?
wow. I don't even think this was on the topic
No, it
list.
definitely was not. Breakfast for dinner was not on there.
So, is the question if I'm eating a breakfast type food for dinner, what is it? Is that the
No,
question?
no, I just want to know what you're eating.
Oh, okay. Well, I would like to talk about the times when I have breakfast for dinner, what I would eat.
By all means, go for it.
Yeah, whatever you want.
I know we are the eggs. I do love eggs. Not all kinds of eggs, but I do love omelets. And my favorite is probably what is known sometimes as the Western omelet or a Denver omelet, which is like ham and cheese and onions mixed in, diced. I love diced food in general. And you could dice up everything I ever eat and I would enjoy it. I love diced food. But I love omelets and I would have one for dinner. And maybe I'll do that.
I love omelets too.
I
Like
love
my
them.
my wife makes them way better. So I maybe I'll hit her up for one.
I've tried to. I'm not a big cook. I mean, I do the grilling around here. I don't do the stovetop stuff too much, but I do. I have tried to get better with eggs, omelets. Um, Sometimes if we have some sort of leftover in the fridge, maybe I'll slice it up and throw it in the omelet if it's appropriate. So I'll take photo next time.
How about you, Bryant?
Well, for me, I'm willing to admit here publicly that I have a problem. And my problem is I love Cinnabon. I love it too much. I am obsessed with it to the point that now the people at Cinnabon know me by name, know what I want, and have it waiting for me every morning. So what I'm eating is Cinnabon and slowly on the path to what I'm sure will be diabetes. So, Brad, how about you?
Who doesn't like Cinnabon? I mean, what the heck? Or Bon, however you
Can
want to say
we,
it.
can we,
Well,
yeah, I was just gonna say, can we discuss how we're supposed to pronounce that?
oh, please go for it.
I mean, I don't know.
I always say
Cinnabon?
Cinnabon, so I don't know.
It's not well, Bun's
What?
B-U-N, right?
No, Bon, B-O-N.
what's a
It's
bun?
B-O-N.
But what's a bun? I know what a bun is.
Yeah,
What's a bun? I mean, is it supposed to rhyme with cinnamon? Because then it would be. I,
It doesn't.
yeah. It doesn't. No, not at all.
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, it's play on words,
It is.
but I
I
don't know what
mean,
the play
it's an
is.
attempt at a play on words. I'm not quite sure it hits,
No, not at all.
but
It's
we
just
all
there
know
to
what,
confuse you.
and that's what matters.
I'm thinking tomorrow omelets and Cinnabons.
Oof, that's a heavy day right there.
But so I went a little further with this than I expected.
Oh,
So I know I've mentioned it before. I had a show before. Me and Bryant were on the Kickout crew, and Mike would always do a segment called Mike's Meat Minute, and he'd give us a recipe of something he was making. It never went a minute, but close enough. But I actually have a recipe because I think I make the world's best chili. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put it out there. I'm gonna let you everybody in this world make it. Okay. So this is what it is. It's 1¼ pounds of ground meat or turkey, whatever you prefer. It's both good. Okay. Now, if you have the ground meat, you have to drain it. Just know that. All right. Don't keep that grease in there. So then you have a 32-ounce can of Hunt's tomato sauce or whatever tomato sauce. Now, I'm not talking Prego. I'm not talking Ragu, something like that. I'm talking about the can that you got to get the can opener for, okay? The unseasoned, without the stuff in it. All right. You need one of those, 32 ounces. Three 16-ounce cans of the beans. Now, kidney beans, regular size, small, and then white beans. One small onion, chopped real good. Like so tiny that when you cook it, it's gone. You don't see it. One regular size red pepper. Same thing. Chop it, you don't see it. One jalapeno, chopped small. Now, that's the only spice I put in this. It's like that. It doesn't really, if you don't like spice, don't worry, it's fine. 1 tablespoon of light margarine. 1/2 cup of grape jelly. What? Just trust me, okay? 1/4 cup of yellow mustard, and then you have the chili powder. Now, and you have the garlic powder or salt, onion powder or salt. Now, let me tell you something. I get the sodium. I'm part of it. I take medication. But if you want it to taste better, you want the onion salt and the garlic salt. I'm telling you right now. Everything but the bagel seasoning and 21 season salute. Now, those are spices from, come on, Matt.
Is it Trader Joe's?
Trader Joe's. I know you know. I know you know. 1 ounce of fresh oregano. Okay. So you're going to cook the turkey. You're going to cook the meat, whatever it is. You're going to drain it. Add sauce and stir. Add beans after draining. Don't you dare not drain those beans. That is gross, and it'll be way too I don't know, too much liquid. Add the vegetables now because they're already chopped. Generous amounts of chili powder. Cover the top. Just cover the top of it. All other condiments is just a few shakes, okay? Don't go crazy there. Add oregano, bring to a boil. Turn on low. Now you add the mustard, the margarine, and the jelly. Stir. Cook for 4 hours covered on low, stirring often. Serve with fresh Italian bread or nacho chips. If you like cheese, sprinkle some on the top. Oyster crackers are always a nice touch.
You know, chili is a wonderful thing
Mm-hmm.
because Sue has a recipe here and it is absolutely fantastic. And she makes it often. And it's also a meal that goes the distance, right? You can there's plenty of leftovers.
Yeah.
But her recipe is nothing like yours. I mean, we don't put red sauce in it at all. Certainly not putting grape jelly in
Wait,
it.
what do you put in it though? If not red sauce, what are you putting in it? You
Um,
think tomato soup? I swear I'll turn this off.
no, jeez, I don't know. A
All
lot
right.
of beans and
So let's have a chili off. Okay, we can plan it. You're not that far away. We're gonna
yeah,
fly. We're gonna fly Brian in.
Yep, I'll fly in for this.
we know we have crock pots. There must be mobile versions.
Yeah, yeah. There's definitely crock pots.
Um,
As I rub my head in disgust.
no, I don't have the recipe on hand. She's the one who makes it, but grape jelly. I mean, what on
Yeah.
earth?
So instead of sugar, a lot of people put sugar for acidity and things. I use the grape jelly,
Yeah.
and it's marvelous.
And sometimes, because we like spicy food, so sometimes we'll put a habanero in there to increase it.
Ooh, that's
Yeah.
risky.
Yeah.
I'd like to throw in here. Did I hear mustard?
Yeah, yellow.
Oh no, I'm out.
Like Matt was overlooking that part, and I
I
was
did.
gonna
I
focus
missed
in on
that.
that. I was like, mustard was the part. Like the jelly part, I'm like, I could understand a little bit, but the mustard, I was like, wait a second.
Yeah. What are you doing?
I'm making the world's best chili is what
I
I'm
don't
doing.
know. I think that
Well, until you have it.
I think
And
it's
I've
like a
never shared
10.
this recipe until recently, and everyone in this house likes it. And everyone in every else's house likes it.
Yeah. Mm, yeah.
Don't knock it till you try it. I was taught that a long time ago.
I am
Um,
intrigued.
I took notes and I have other comments if we have time. Um,
We
the
Go ahead.
what's that?
Go ahead.
So the everything but the bagel seasoning is what a brilliant thing that exists in this world. Um, I love using it. I am obsessed with sesame seeds. I love sesame seeds. We have a shaker. Like our house is like salt shaker, pepper shaker, sesame seed shaker. It's like we're always putting it on stuff. I just it's amazing. Sesame sticks. Oh,
Big fan.
oh my God, I get in trouble with those.
When you guys made fun of me for that party of one I had for SummerSlam, I had the sesame sticks there.
Yeah, boy. And you reminded me, and we gotta go dig out this recipe. A long time ago, we had a somebody had a gathering and people brought food and it was a pulled pork crock pot. I love pulled pork. And it was cooking in root beer. And man, was that the best pulled
Oh
pork.
yeah, and I'm ridiculous.
It was so incredible.
You're freaking yeah. You have soda on in the freaking crock pot, but mustard and jelly's weird.
I mean, those things don't go together with
Oh,
meat.
and root beer does.
Ugh.
Listen, I'm willing to try it.
It
And
was root beer
you can't make fun of me and then bring out root beer freaking crock pots.
So, all right. Well, this is good. It's chili season here.
Hell yeah, I'm making it
Yeah.
Sunday again.
We don't really make it. We've been big on crock pot usage. I mean, I think the main reason is It helps out with, when you have a limited time. You throw
Yeah.
it together in the morning and it
Oh
cooks
yeah.
and it's
For cook
ready,
all
right?
day. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you a chili fan, Bryant?
Absolutely. It's a staple here in this area because it
See,
is cold constantly. So
so when we're talking food, I feel like Brian and I are right there because
yeah.
sweet pickles out, chili we're in. Matt, you're having root beer with your
Yeah, I'm the
pulled
brown
pork.
egg,
I don't
I'm
even know if there's sauce in this chili that you're eating.
yeah, there must
You're not
be.
sure.
We don't
No,
know.
there probably is. I'm just getting it wrong somehow. I mean, it's not visible when I'm eating it.
Mine's very red. Actually, the mustard makes it a little orange. All
No, ours is not very red. No.
right, moving on. We got another new segment this
Oh my God. What are we doing?
I don't know, but we're gonna go ahead and
How
We're
did I not
going with it.
notice this? How did I allow this?
Yeah, you read the
jumbo
outline.
eggs. Jumbo eggs with Bryant. So, Bryant, what is jumbo eggs?
Jumbo eggs is a topic we talked about where we met celebrities, where we've had some interactions with some famous people. We've all met somebody, whether it be a meet and greet or I don't know, you guys in big cities, probably out on the streets. I don't know. But for me, starting this off, a lot of my people that I have been fans of, as we talked about, is in the wrestling world. One of my favorite meet and greet opportunities that I had was I got to meet Bray Wyatt. This was about 4 years ago at a WrestleCon event. Bray had just been released from WWE, and this was his first time out and about since the release. And and an event so big, it's his WrestleMania weekend. They're trying to shuffle people through because he had probably the biggest line for meet and greets. And Bray still took the time as the guys are trying to shuffle you out. He would tell them all. He would constantly tell them, no. We're gonna talk. Had the opportunity to stand there, talk to Bray for probably 5 minutes, and to him, it's 5 minutes. To fans like us, it means so much. And now, wrestling fans know Bray has tragically passed away. And to have this moment, to have this opportunity to just get the chance to talk to him and, tell him how much you appreciate him as a fan and him, and then him saying it back of, thank you for helping me and being here for me. And it's a moment I treasure, especially now, like I said, knowing Bray's passed. It's one of my favorite opportunities and one of the favorite people I've had a chance to meet.
That's awesome that you got to meet him. I never had a chance to meet him. Gone way too soon for sure.
Absolutely. Just in the mind for the business he had was amazing. But like I said, just to have that moment where he sat there for at least 5 minutes with every single person that came in, just to thank them and take that time with them. It's a special moment, and something I'll never forget because, like I said, these meet and greet lines. It's hey, how you doing, and you sign something, you leave, and to take that time to talk to everyone, it's a special moment indeed. So
Love it.
that's mine. Back to you, Brad.
I loved it. I miss him. He was great. He was great. He did some great things for the business. So that brings us to you, Matt. Why don't you go ahead and hit us with those socials?
Well, you know what? I think we have a couple extra minutes here, and as luck might have it, I'm going to take us on a quick detour because I, in fact, have Sue's chili recipe in front of me. So,
What did this happen?
He texted her real quick. It's like, send it to me right now. I need
this
it.
is a one shot here. No camera tricks. All right, so ground beef or turkey, ground beef or ground turkey. I think we usually do it with ground turkey because
Totally.
there's so much other flavor there that you don't need to beef it up,
100%.
One red bell pepper, one green bell pepper, one white onion, one clove of garlic,
Mm.
1 teaspoon chili powder, 1 teaspoon cayenne pepper, 1 teaspoon of Jane's mixed up salt, 1 can of red beans, 1 can of black beans, 1 can of diced tomatoes,
There
and
it is.
1 small can of tomato sauce.
And the diced tomatoes too. So there it is.
Yeah.
There it is.
And then not featured is, optional is the heat level. So I think we'll add the high. I think we usually add the habanero. Yeah.
Yeah, I can be flexible on that. Depends on who's eating it, right?
We're not like obsessed with hot food, and we don't go like to the atomic levels, but I definitely like food that's got some spice. Like if I
But if
get,
it was just me eating it, I might go a little heavier on the spice. But making a pot of chili, it's not for one normally.
yeah, no, I got you. If you're trying to feed a family,
Hmm.
you know, you go with the middle of the road, satisfy
Yeah,
everybody.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
All right,
Hey,
boys. Eggs. We are. This is three eggs are better than one. And we are cooking up every Monday morning at 6:30 a.m. Eastern on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and everywhere else you get your podcasts. Find us on YouTube at Three Eggs Are Better Than One. That's the number three, the letter R, the number one. And you can follow us on X or Blue Sky or Instagram or TikTok at Three Eggs Are Better, the number three, the letter R. And our individual accounts at Yes Man Brad, at B Haremza, and I am at Purple Shirt Guy without the I. Bryant, why don't you tell us about next week?
So I have been hiding this from my fellow eggs because I didn't want them to have any preparation. But I'm giving them just a teeny tiny bit of homework for next week,
mm,
as I would like all of you as well. So when we record next week, that episode will drop the day before, a couple days before Christmas. And Christmas is always about giving and all of these great things. And one thing that comes with Christmas is Christmas movies. We discussed last week, me kind of telling you what I think Elf is. And we all know Christmas classics. We all know the hits. But what I would like to talk about are the terrible Christmas movies, the movies that nobody likes. But I'd like you guys to come to the show next week with a Christmas movie that's everybody thinks is terrible, but you like. I have several because I love to torture my family and friends with it. So I'd like to know your guys's as well. And for you at home listening, tell us what are some of yours as well. I look forward to hearing them, and that's what we'll be doing next week.
We're
But
really hammering on that holiday season.
I had a second thought in mind, but I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to go with this one because
Save that for after.
exactly,
That's 2025 stuff.
exactly. That's next year's problem. So on that note, this was a fun episode. Got to talk about, celebrity interactions. Matt got to talk about what he loves, inconsistencies with everything. Brad's always going to be hard boiled. So, we always look forward to those topics. We hope you guys have enjoyed the show. We hope you guys have a great week. The egg timer's been set, and we'll see you guys next week.